Seems you can't have a cutting-edge mid-sized SUV of any kind these days without having a plug-in hybrid version, so Ford offers that tech with its third-generation Kuga crossover. There are the usual PHEV calling card features here, a 35-mile all-electric driving range, a super low benefit-in-kind taxation rating, and a rather high sticker price, built into a package that should feel a touch more dynamic than most of its rivals.
Unlike the mild hybrid model in the Kuga range, which is a 2-litre diesel, this PHEV is petrol-powered. A 2.5-litre Duratec power plant is paired with a 110 PS electric motor, resulting in a useful total output of 225 PS. The electrified element of the whole setup is powered by a decently sized 14.4 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery, and the whole shooting match is mated to a CVT automatic gearbox. Keep the battery cells topped up, and theoretically up to 35 miles of WLTP rated all-electric driving range is quoted, although you get nowhere near that if you explore the possibility offered here of driving at up to 85 miles an hour on battery power alone. With the full powertrain working, 62 from rest takes 9.2 seconds en route to 124 miles an hour. Handling, it's not quite as sharp as more conventional Kugas, but it's vastly more involving than directly comparable SUV crossover plug-in hybrid rivals. You'll need to get your head around all the drive modes, as well as the usual normal, eco and sport settings. There are also slippery and deep snow sand modes, which is a bit curious because unlike its PSO Group plug-in rivals, this Kuga can only be had with front-wheel drive in PHEV form. There are also 4 further settings for the electric drivetrain. EV Now focuses the drivetrain on all-electric output. EV Charge rather inefficiently tops up the battery using the engine, and EV Later holds the current state of charge so that you can save it for the urban driving that you might want to do later on in your trip. Most of the time, though, you'll be simply leaving the car in EV Auto, where the clever electronics determine the most efficient use of engine and battery power. You can boost brake regeneration and therefore energy harvesting by clicking on an L button on the gear selector, and various drive system readouts, EV Coach, Eco Behaviour and Electric Efficiency combine with the available Eco Drive Mode setting to help you to drive more frugally. The quickest that you'll be able to recharge from empty is in 3.3 hours from the 7.4 kilowatt garage wall box that Ford offers at extra cost. Another thing a PHEV buyer would have to keep aside some cash for. A standard domestic 3-pin plug will charge the car in around 6 hours. The WLTP rated combined cycle fuel figure is up to 201.7 mpg, and there's a quoted WLTP CO2 return of 32 grams per kilometre that makes possible this plug-in variant's low 10% benefit-in-kind taxation rating. That's in year 1, it's 11% in year 2 and 12% in year 3. There are no really obvious visual giveaways that this plug-in variant is the PHEV model in the range, unless you're sharp-eyed enough to spot the extra flap for the charging point. If you're not familiar with this third-generation design, you'll find it to be significantly bigger than its predecessor, 44mm wider and 89mm longer, with the wheelbase increased by 20mm. At the wheel, it's much as it would be in a Focus hatch, with the usual 8-inch centre dash, Sync 3 infotainment touchscreen. You sit quite high, the cabin's pretty spacious, and there's plenty of tinsel added to upper spec variants to try to justify the more exalted price positioning, although ultimately some hard and scratchy lower order plastics betray this cabin's relatively humble origins. Upper spec variants get this 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster, which incorporates a right-hand power gauge showing in kilowatts the current output of either battery or engine. In between the two main dials is a customizable section into which you can add various EV-orientated readouts. The rear bench hasn't been compromised by battery placement, as is the case with some PHEV models, and it reclines for greater comfort, and it also slides over a range of 150mm, allowing you to choose between legroom and luggage space behind. Talking of luggage space, let's look at that. This third generation Kuga model's C2 platform was designed around an electrified remit, but cargo capacity is still significantly reduced by the plug-in package, down from 475 to 411 litres. Slide the rear seat forward as far as it'll go, in which case there'll be very little legroom for the back seat folk, and there'll be 581 litres of room. That's down from 645 normally. Flatten the 60/40 split folding bench, and there's 1,481 litres of total capacity to the window line. This Kuga certainly required wider appeal if it was to expand its market share and push itself up market, and this third generation model's extra full hybrid drivetrain options delivered just that. Just because your next family car might need to be in some way electric, it doesn't have to feel like some kind of domestic appliance. Ford knows how to create something better, and it shows with this car.